welcome to Dr. Sarah's Café, and welcome to the month of September. Can you believe we're already here? It's a very special month for reasons I will share later in this video, but I want to start with our flavor of the week. What's the flavor we're savoring this week? And y'all, it is a good one. It is new manifestations. We all love manifesting what we desire, what we wish. And this week in particular, we have an opportunity to plant some really good seeds of new manifestations. I'll talk all about it with the astro ingredients, the tarot ingredients, and some oracle tea leaves as well. The astro ingredients in particular, on the 2nd, we have a new moon. New moons are delightful. We love new moons, don't we? Because it's an opportunity for us to plant our seeds in some particular area of life. And so if you're familiar with your birth chart, you can look at where Virgo is placed in your unique birth chart to see what area of life you might be planting this new seed and generating this new manifestation. But for all of us, the idea or the vibe, the flavor of Virgo is one that is very grounded. It is an earth sign and it is ruled by Mercury. So some great things here. Virgo being an earth sign, it really, really wants to help us manifest our intentions and desires in a practical, tangible way out in the real world, right? And so all earth signs really ask us or push us or drive us to make things real, to make them something that we can touch, taste, smell, see, observe, right? It's the earthiness of it. It's not just air energy where it's up in your mind and your imagination. It's not water energy where it's all in your emotions. And I'm an air sign, and so I love that air and that water energy because that's part of how we manifest. It's through the imagination that we have the idea of what we want. It's through the feelings and the emotions with the water energy that we have the alignment, the emotional alignment to that thing. And it's with the fire energy that we have the passion to pursue it and get up and take action. And so with the earth sign energy, it lends us the practicality. It lends us the grounded, everyday process and planning and execution that it takes to really bring that manifestation and fully execute it till its natural conclusion, right? And Virgo energy in particular, because it's ruled by Mercury, it does have that element of ideas and planning and spreadsheets. I've talked about Virgo energy before when Mercury was first in Virgo. And so now Mercury is direct again. Yay. A lot of people have talked about how the Mercury retrograde was, they really felt it. It was a little more intense than some previous Mercury retrogrades. So later this week, the same week, Mercury moves back into its home sign of Virgo shortly after that new moon. And so it just lends extra energy, extra, support for us making a plan, making a strategy, getting organized around our desired manifestation. And so on the Virgo new moon, it's a great time to write out. Make a list of what you want, describe it in detail, and maybe decide where you would like it to happen, when, right? Do the little bubble map and the mind map and make the checklist and put something into a spreadsheet. That's a great season of doing some of the more practical, strategic things around your desires and your manifestation. And again, when when Mercury moving back into the sign of Virgo, it might naturally make you want to organize things and structure things and create plans and make the checklists and open up the spreadsheets. It lends itself to that naturally anyway. And that is very supportive for making sure that our manifestations don't just stay in the realm of intention and desire, but that we have a strategy, we have some plan for taking action and aligning our thoughts, words, emotions, and actions with the intentions and the desires that we say we want. Now, if you're looking at the screen, you see that there's something else happening this week that I haven't talked about yet, and it's Mars moving into the sign of Cancer. So Mars moving into the sign of Cancer, Mars is that energy of like aggression. It's assertive, it's forward moving, and it wants to, Mars is considered in mythology the god of war. And so it is very fiery. It is very like, I'm gonna go get it. It's like the planet of athletes and competition and ambition, right? It is that very masculine principle of, being laser focused on something and, running for it. And Cancer is a much more feminine energy, and it likes to receive, it likes to nurture, it likes to, make people feel comfortable. And Cancer likes comfort and nurturing. However, Cancer is a water sign, but it is a cardinal sign. And I love that about Cancer energy. And so people often forget that Cancer is ambitious. All the cardinal signs they start the season. And so Cancer starts summer, right? It starts the summer season. And so cardinal signs like to kick things off. And so I think Mars moving into this cardinal energy is a relief because it has a purpose, right? Cancer energy being a cardinal energy gives Mars direction. Whereas when Mars was in Gemini, Gemini being a mutable sign, it's more scattered. Like the energy is scattered. So yeah, Mars is like, yeah, there are all these things I want to do in Gemini. I'm going to go here and go here, right? But that's like just a scattering of energy. It's like, confetti, right? But Mars in Cancer is more focused. It is more so that laser beam. And it's important to remember, because it's still a water sign, that you are emotionally driven. So you're much more likely to be driven by your emotional truth, your emotional desires, the things that make you feel comfortable. You're driven to create family. Somebody said that Mars and Cancer, a lot of those people like are really driven to like create home, create family, like that's their thing. And it helps us, I think, with this manifestation energy as well because of that, because we have that desire coming in with this new moon in Virgo. We set that intention, and then Mars moving into Cancer, this watery cardinal sign, it gives us that emotional drive and that emotional clarity about what it is we want, and the fact that we are driven to take action to achieve that. Some people, you might also hear some astrologers say that Mars is sort of frustrated in water signs, and so it can be very emotional, like in the less comfortable way, right? In the less productive way, like angry tears, feeling overwhelmed by emotions sometimes. And so you do, regulating the nervous system, going slowing down a little bit. But yeah, reminding yourself that your strong emotions, your intense emotions can be fuel for you as you seek to usher in and invite in and call in whatever you decide to manifest with this new moon energy. Okay. Now, the tarot ingredients, if you know me, I love tarot. And so I only pull like 1 or 2 cards for the flavor of the week, but I want to start doing more, full tarot readings, just because I love the process of a tarot reading. But for today, this week rather, 2 cards came out, and I'm really excited to share them. They're from the Hoodoo Tarot deck. And so we have Zero, which is the free man, and we also have the Son of Baskets. So let me unpack these and share how they are so aligned with the flavor of new manifestations, the flavor of this week. And so I mentioned they came from the Hoodoo Tarot deck. And so the terminology is slightly different from more traditional tarot decks. And so the free man is often associated with the Fool card, okay? And it's the number 0. So let's talk about the number 0 first of all. We talk about planting a seed of intention, a manifestation. The seed is that 0 point. And I'm telling y'all, like, this is divinely orchestrated, because when I pull the cards, I look at the astrology, I pull the oracle cards, and that's how I come up with the unique blend and flavor of the week as I'm uniquely guided to channel it, right? And so we think about new moon energy. I was already thinking seeds, new beginnings. And then the 0 card comes out, the free man, the fool, the inception. The fool is like the inception at birth, not the birth of the thing, but the inception of the thing that's going to gestate and eventually become born. And so keep that in mind, that on this new moon, it's not going to be like that, right? You're not going to get pregnant and give birth on the same day, right? That's not how our human biology works anyway. And so this is like getting pregnant with the idea, getting pregnant with the passion. And aside from this card being the 0, it is also the free man and the fool. And so a couple of things about our new manifestations is that people might look from the outside and think, oh, you're being foolish. Oh, you're being foolhardy. You're too risky. You're taking too many risks. Are you sure that this, crapshoot idea is worth the risk, worth the gamble. And so you have to find the courage to take the gamble on yourself. And I'm going to read from the book. It is by Tiana Lee McKillar. I just realized I've never tried to say her name out loud. I've had the book for a long time. I've never had to like say the name, but it is Tiana Lee McQuillar. I'll put it here so you can see yourself. So I'm going to read an excerpt from About the Fool as she writes it in the guidebook. The free man is definitely foolish to most people who encounter him because he appears to be reckless and immature. But such assessments are only relevant when gain or loss is the focus. The free man doesn't exist in the space where those thoughts flourish. He is more interested in the attainment of wisdom by following his passions. It's going to be important when we talk about the Son of Cups. And what he knows to be true, wherever that might ultimately lead. The free man has what every great root worker has always had: the courage to follow their calling, the courage to follow their calling. So some of our new moon manifestations this week are going to require us courage to step into that manifestation, to embrace it, to lean into it. Despite the possibly dire consequences and an unshakable faith that made that courage possible. And I've said this in some video. I make so much content, I forget what I say and where I said it and when I said it. But in some video, I said that if you have faith, then that is likely to manifest as courage, right? And so it is your faith that fuels your courage, right? And then some questions. I love that she includes questions in this book. Let's see, questions for the major arcana. So some of the questions I highlighted for this week as we think about our new moon manifestations: what is the best thing that can happen if things go your way? What is the best thing that can happen if things go your way? I'm going to make myself full screen here. What is the worst thing that could happen if they don't? And here's the kicker. Can you live without ever knowing? Have you received an opportunity that you fantasized about but are too afraid to take it? Where are you headed? Are you really a free spirit? And are you living in the present? And follow your bliss. Follow your bliss. It's a key to your manifestation this week. And the other card that came out is the Son of Baskets. And it's so cute. He's so cute. I love that illustration. And so I'm going to read a little bit about the Son of Baskets too. This is the Page of Cups. So she says, the Son of Baskets is the archetype of the idealist. On the positive side, he is artistic, deep, inquisitive, unafraid of intimacy or commitment, and has the ability to see the big picture with a great sense of humor. And so your courage to follow your passion or your bliss, even when it seems like you're being too pie in the sky, too idealistic, too immature, not realistic enough. People look at your dreams, they look at your plan, they look at your vision, and they say, oh, it's not realistic enough. It needs to be more grounded, more practical. And what's really interesting is to see this as a balance to the Virgo energy. So I mentioned, if we go back, how Virgo energy is about planning. It is about being grounded. It is about being practical, right? And thinking about the everyday reality of bringing something into fruition, but balancing that with the ideal, with the highest imagination and love and courage and risk, and saying, I have created the best plan I can take, and now it's time to take the leap of faith. Okay. So you can plan, but at some point, you can't completely plan your way out of self-doubt. You can create some support for yourself by getting organized, by organizing your life and your time and your schedule and doing some practical things, doing your research. Virgo energy is also about research and study, but you can't do enough of that to ever completely overcome fear or self-doubt. And so you have to also infuse your planning and your studying and your research with that leap of faith, with that courage to look at your inner child and say, hey, we deserve to bet on ourselves. We deserve to take a chance on ourselves to make our wildest dreams come true. Okay. Now, your tea leaf oracle message comes from the African Goddess Rising deck by Abiola Abrams. And this image, it's a burst of color on your screen, so just prepare. Yay. And it's manifestation. Of course it is. Of course it is. And I didn't purposely select this card. I promise y'all, this is the card that fell out as I was shuffling. And so again, that's part of how I infused this message of manifestation into the overall flavor of the week. And it just perfectly coincided with a new moon in Virgo of no less, right? So manifestation, feast your eyes on the beauty of this artwork while I read the very brief description by Abiola Abrams. So the goddess is Mojaji, goddess of manifestation, and it is from the Temple of Conjurers. So conjuring your intentions and your manifestations is the element of water, right? So again, Mars moving into the sign of Cancer. There's definitely a watery element planting our seeds in the earth of Virgo. Can't make this stuff up, folks. Goddess Mojaji is the hereditary reign queen of South Africa's Belobedu people, a matrilineal queendom. Mojaji's daughters dance to the frequency of rain, okay? So Mojaji's guidance. Showers of blessings are yours. You are a rainmaker, master manifester, shapeshifter, alchemist, and sorceress. Open your hands and heart. The embodiment of this energy, yes, make it rain. You are manifesting big. This has been a long time coming, and I felt that. You are co-creating with spirit. Match the energetic frequency, the ashe of your desire. You are magnetic, and like attracts like. Raise your vibration to align with the sacred. Close your eyes and see your blessings. Feel them in your bones. Ask, believe, act, allow, receive. Goddess declaration. Divine blessings flow to me easily. That was delicious, okay? I don't know about your experience hearing me read that, and I didn't see myself while I was reading because I had the different screen pulled up. But that was a delicious read. I really enjoyed reading that. Okay, now this is what I'm really excited to tell you all about. The Brew Crew. The Brew Crew is going live on September 8th. Doors will officially open to the VIP section of Dr. Sarah's Café. And if you register now, you can get a 30-day free sample of the Brew Crew flavor. And so I'm going to close out this first cohort of registrations on September 22nd. So you have from now until September 22nd to register to be a part of this founding cohort of this brand new Brew Crew membership that I've created as part of Dr. Sarah's Café. And what I'm really excited about when it comes to this is it's the kind of space that I would have benefited from years ago as a novice tarot reader, as someone who was curious about astrology but didn't really know a lot of people to talk to, and so had to rely on YouTube videos. And so if you are curious about different spiritual concepts or metaphysical practices and tools like numerology or oracle cards, and you also want to vibe with people who are also on their own spiritual journeys and quests, then you can learn more about the Brew Crew, what it has to offer, and get a free 30-day sample in the link below. And I'll also put a card up here if I can. All right. The pastry and poetry of the week is brought to us by another Virgo writer. One of my favorite Virgo writers, even though I haven't read many of his books, the book that I adore, that has become one of my favorite books, is his memoir on the craft of writing. And it's literally called On Writing, a memoir of the craft. And that is Mr. Stephen King. Stephen King. I've seen so many of his movies though. And I love this quote because it reminds me of the free man card that I described, it reminds me of that Page of Cups, like the little deep breath that you take before you do the scary thing, before you leap into action. You've done your research, you've studied, you've sussed out the lay of the land, and then you just have to take that deep breath in and go. Say the thing, do the thing, input the thing, press the publish button. So Stephen King, his poetry that I'm sharing with us today is the scariest moment is always just before you start. This feels so good to me. It's delightful. And our pastry is equally delightful and delicious. It is cherry cheesecake. And I have not had cherry cheesecake in a really long time. And so the next time I bite into a slice of cherry cheesecake, it's going to be good. Okay. And I'm going to remember the Stephen King quote. And actually, I think just before I take that first bite, it's not going to be the scariest moment. It's going to be the most exhilarating moment. The most exhilarating moment just before you bite into a cherry cheesecake. But okay, all jokes aside, folks, the quote reminds us that as we think about our new manifestations, as we may or may not hear people dismiss or doubt our dreaminess and our idealism, we have to find that courage to start. Just like the history of our ancestors, we would not have come as far as we have in our lineages and our lines and our evolution as humans, really, if at least some of our ancestors hadn't taken that risk to appear foolish, hadn't taken that leap that said, okay, this might not work out, but I can't live with the regret of not knowing and never having tried. Our affirmation and our to-go or our takeaway for the week, something that you can carry with you, something that you can keep warm in your little to-go mug, is I learned to generate the feeling of my desire as if I'm already there. So that's a great practice as you make your plans with this Virgo season, as you create the spreadsheets and create the to-do lists. Don't forget to also generate the feeling of what you're trying to create. And so as you're planning and taking those first initial steps, putting the ideas down on paper, making the initial phone calls, doing some research, do your practice of generating the feeling of what it's going to be like, of what it's like to actually have that thing already in your life. And that's going to supercharge your execution. Okay. And with that, my dears, I hope and I pray that this weekly refill, that this flavor and this savoring of the energies and the guidance for the week has helped you in some way to refill your spiritual cup. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care.